we had some of the best ministers. You turn on the TV today, and I hear ministers, and because we've grown up in the church, and we had a chance to get to know these ministers firsthand, because as you know, they would preach at Emmanuel and then come home and stay with Grandpa and Grandma.
That's right.
And, we got a chance to hang out with them, to talk with them, to see them as real people. So, when I turn on the TV today and I listen to ministers like Grandpa and Grandma listen to ministers, because they would tell you who actually knew the word and who was just hooping and hollering. So, I believe that those evening services is where you really got intimate with the minister, where you could really see whether or not they understood God's word. And honestly, you talk about where I don't know what it was about those metal chairs, but I think they conducted the Holy Spirit in some way. Those chairs would be flying all over before the night was through. So, I smile every time I think about those services, because we started at 9 a.m. with Sunday school, morning service at 11 a.m. We ate breakfast afterwards. We had prayer, we had Bible study, and then right in the evening services. So we didn't get home till about 11 o'clock at night.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
And you do that years and years and years, and it grows on you. It becomes a part of who you are.
That's right. That's right. We're listening to The Specialist Show. I'm your host, Shelton Hunter. I have the pleasure of having Dr. Clay M. Hunter as my guest, and we're just going through some life journeys. Tell us a little bit about your early education, Dr. Hunter.
Yes, sir. So, I was in Newark for a little while at elementary school, but when I think about my education, it really for me began when I moved to East Orange, New Jersey, and in particular Clifford Scott High School, and the amazing story for me, and where I know there is a God, is from kindergarten all the way up to 8th grade. No one would have been able to predict, I don't believe, at least I did not see, that I would be where I am now. I think about my early elementary experience, and I remember Aunt Hollis constantly having to come and get me from school after being suspended, whether it was putting ink in the teacher's chair or stealing crayons and throwing them at teachers, or just talking out of turn. I mean, I was that child that teachers, I know, when they saw that class list and they saw my name on that list, I know they had to be thinking, "Oh my God, not Clay." Let me just back up. See, I'm an educator.
I got him.
One of the things that our parents need to know is, at the end of the year, class assignments have to be made. Teachers usually don't go home until they have determined which students will be in which classes. And the way teachers do that is they usually have pink and blue cards, pink for girls, blue for boys. They write down the names of the children and all their other important information, and then any other information that you would need to know about the child. Is he or she allergic to peanuts? Do they have to sit in the front of the class because of bad eyesight? Or are they just BAD?
Sit BAD.
Give you a hard time. Right? I mean, you have EBD and all kinds of different acronyms for special education.
Right.
But then you have BAD, and that was me. And I know that, having been an elementary school principal, I think the first time I saw teachers determining which classes children would go in, I immediately went back to, oh my goodness, I probably was that child that teachers, when they saw the list and saw my name, I just know that they cringed. They had to have cringed. So that was elementary school. How I got through it was simply divine intervention. And the weird thing about it is, At churches, I could recite anything. I could quote anything. I always did the reviews, but man, Monday through Friday, there was no Jesus in me at all. At all. So, so, so that was elementary school. But I tell you, it got so bad in middle school, if you remember, that the decision, well, twice the decision was made to send me away. You remember when I was, I think when I was 8, remember it got so bad that they sent me to stay with Uncle Charles.
Yes, yes.
Right, in St. Louis.
And tell us about who our Uncle Charles is, real quick.
Yeah, sure. So, my Uncle Charles, my Grandma Hunter had 8 brothers. And Grandma Hunter, of course, was the oldest of those 8. So 1 girl, 8 boys. Uncle Charles is probably the 3rd or 4th oldest in line, but made a great name for himself as a librarian. PhD in library science, graduated from Morehouse, taught at Brown University, taught at Washington University in St. Louis, which is considered an Ivy League school, really right up there with the Ivy League schools in the Midwest, located in the Midwest. And so he flew into town to visit Grandma Hunter, as all her brothers would do. And so heard about me, and Uncle Charles always took on all of his siblings' children as projects. I wasn't the only one. There were plenty of nieces and nephews where he would hear a story about them not doing right or struggling. And whether they were in high school or college or like me in elementary school, he would take them on as a project. Mm. So before I knew it, I was on what I thought was just simply a cool plane ride. But come to find out, I actually was moving to St. Louis, and I didn't really understand that until about 3 weeks into me being in St. Louis. And to be honest with you, the only way I knew to get back was to act bad. Man, I did some things I am just totally ashamed of in St. Louis, Missouri. I about tore that whole house up. just tearing stuff up. Terrorizing his daughters.
Linda and Cynthia.
In the school. First time in a integrated classroom. And I was from Newark, and I let them know that I was from Newark even at 8. So needless to say, after 1 year, they sent me back to New Jersey. A little bit much. I actually, let me tell you, I don't think Uncle Charles spanked his children. I'm really sure that he did. But for me, he had to go ahead and go back to old school. He did. I took him there. But I took Grandma there. I mean, I don't know how many different things Grandma hit us with when we were growing up.
Yeah, that's true.
That's true. Things, right? I mean, the whoop-a-ball bats, the wet washcloths.
the slipper.
I will not name them because I know it's against the law and defects may come forth. So